am now good friends with Joe Pags, who's a prominent radio host out of the San Antonio area. He's got a national following. And Joe got swatted. And Joe released some footage about what happened. And then also our friend Larry Taunton, whom I've had on this podcast several times. And here's Larry. I'm just going to go through his thread because it gives you kind of chapter and verse. It gives you the detail of how this happens. And Larry also must have some sort of a ring camera or door camera because he has all of this on video. I was swatted last night, he says, as you can see in these 3 videos. I was in bed, but noticed Ranger, my German Shepherd, was on the prowl, his ears up. So Larry's like, something's up, right? The dog's instinct is perked up. He says, then I saw a flicker on my bedroom door. The dog goes out to investigate. He goes and gets his gun. What does he see? Quote, I saw the silhouette of a man on my deck with an AR-15. Imagine this. You're asleep. You hear some motion. You see a guy with an AR-15. Larry then goes on to say, I could hear whispers and saw 2 other men also in body armor, heavily armed. He says, I turned on the lights. I told them to identify themselves. And he says, and from there, things began to de-escalate. He says they did. He says, the officers told me they received a call from someone who claimed to be, the person claimed to be in his home and hiding while I shot people. So that was the report given to the cops. And so Larry goes, these were the good guys. I mean, the cops were not doing anything wrong. They were responding to a report. And he says they were doing what they should be doing. And he goes on to say, I doubted any of them voted for Biden or Kamala, which means he probably chatted with them afterward. And they were like, yeah, this is horrible. But this is what these people do. They had approached the house without sirens in silence because they thought there might be an active shooting going on. And he says this might have been a bloodbath, but for restraint on both sides. This was an attempt to get me and my wife killed. It ended in smiles and handshakes. But what might have happened? This is the point that, Larry is a literary guy, and he's noting the irony. They came, they crouched, they hid, they had guns, and by the end of it all, we were buddies. But I think what he's also communicating in this thread is the fact that this is a dangerous business, because it could easily have gotten Larry or one of his family members killed. Imagine if Larry didn't see what was going on. He just sees silhouettes. He opens fire thinking that he's somehow having a home invasion, and then they return fire, and there is, and you have Larry as a casualty. Larry says, let's remember, all of this is going on in pitch darkness. So 9 police vehicles in his drive, and this is really terrible. This has been going on too long, and this is not normal types of protests. This is a kind of terrorism of its own that is putting lives at stake. Now, I was glad to see that Kash Patel is all over it. He posted recently that the FBI is aware of these swatting incidents. They are investigating them. There needs to be no holds barred prosecutions of the people who are doing this stuff. This is not a case where you look the other way. This is not a harmless prank. This is putting people's lives at risk. And I think what it shows you is that the left has had a monopoly of discourse, a monopoly caused by their guys running the media, running these social media platforms, and not only having that kind of domination, but being able to censor, deplatform, and ban people who disagreed with them. And they began to enjoy this monopoly. Who wouldn't, right? A monopoly allows you to essentially have your point of view prevail because there's no other point of view that is even allowed or entertained. And now that the game is different, now that these conservative influencers are having their say, and not only having their say, but winning the argument, and not only winning the argument, but giving the left back in its own currency. So the left relies on sarcasm, derision, memes, outrage. Well, there's a MAGA machine that produces the same. Larry does powerful work in documenting the activities of the NGOs and the international left, and Joe Pags is out there on the radio slamming these guys in his very effective way, and Gunther Eagleman is all over social media. So these people have become, in a way, a real threat to the political domination and perhaps even political monopoly of the left. And because they are a threat, the left wouldn't go to all this trouble if the left didn't feel that its empire, its racket, the corrupt arrangement that they have got between politicians on the one hand and the media on the other, all of this stuff that's been going on for years that is now coming out into the sunlight and making them look really bad, this swatting is their way of desperately lashing out. You don't go out and buy a life jacket when the boat is already sinking, and you don't buy gold when the economy has already collapsed. There's a timing for everything, and now happens to be a good time. Gold has been going up in the first part of 2025. It's not too late for you to benefit. The company you should contact to help you diversify into physical gold is Birch Gold. This is the company where Debbie and I buy our gold. Birch Gold specializes in helping you to convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold for no money out of pocket. Listen to this 5-star review. They're knowledgeable, they're helpful, they're non-pressure, and this is what you get with Birch Gold. That's why I've endorsed them for so long. Get a free information kit on gold by texting the word Dinesh to the number 989898. There's no obligation here, just useful information. Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, countless 5-star reviews. You can trust Birch Gold. Text Dinesh to 989898. Let the experts at Birch Gold help you secure your future with gold today.